For years, Creflo Dollar appeared to embody certainty. His sermons carried confidence, his delivery suggested clarity, and his ministry projected the image of a man who knew exactly where he was going and why. To millions of followers, he represented stability in an uncertain world, a pastor who spoke with authority about faith, finances, and personal discipline. Yet beneath that polished exterior, pressures were quietly building. Leadership at that scale does not exist without strain, and belief systems repeated for decades can become prisons as much as platforms. As time passed, questions emerged not only from critics, but from within his own community. What happens when a message preached with absolute conviction begins to crack under reflection? Dollar's recent years have forced him into unfamiliar territory, confronting doubt publicly rather than dismissing it privately. The unraveling did not happen overnight. It was the result of long-held teachings meeting reality, accountability, and the weight of consequences he had never openly addressed before. A calling born, far from the spotlight. Creflo Augustus Dollar Jr. did not begin life destined for global influence. Born in 1962 in College Park, Georgia, he grew up in a household shaped by discipline, structure, and modest means. His father served as a police officer, while his mother worked in a school cafeteria, providing stability rather than luxury. As a young man, Dollar did not dream of ministry. His ambition centered on athletics, particularly football, which he pursued seriously through college. That dream ended abruptly after a serious injury, forcing him to confront a future he had not planned. During recovery, he attended Bible studies to fill the emotional void left by lost direction. What began as routine soon became transformative. Dollar described a profound spiritual awakening that redirected his purpose. Slowly, he began leading small gatherings, speaking with clarity and confidence. Those early meetings laid the foundation for a ministry that would grow far beyond anything he imagined at the time. From cafeteria gatherings to growing influence. In 1986, Dollar took a leap that would define his life's work. He founded World Changers Ministries Christian Center inside a school cafeteria, a symbolic location tied to both his childhood and his mother's work. Only 8 people attended the first service, yet the message resonated deeply. Dollar spoke in plain language, connecting faith to everyday challenges in a way that felt accessible and empowering. The gatherings grew rapidly, fueled by word of mouth and a hunger for practical spiritual guidance. His teachings emphasized confidence, discipline, and expectation, themes that appealed to people seeking stability and progress. As attendance increased, so did Dollar's sense of purpose and ambition. The small ministry soon outgrew its humble beginnings, relocating and expanding. What started as an intimate community quickly evolved into a structured organization with a clear identity. That early momentum set the stage for national recognition and the development of a doctrine that would define his career. The prosperity message that defined an era. As World Changers expanded, Dollar refined a message that would become central to his influence. The belief that faith, generosity, and positive confession could lead to material and personal abundance. For many struggling families, this message offered hope and agency. It suggested that belief was not passive but active, something that could shape outcomes. Through radio, television, and large conferences, Dollar's teachings reached far beyond Georgia. By the 1990s, his ministry had become international, with followers across continents. The construction of large worship spaces symbolized growth and success, reinforcing the idea that faith produced visible results. Supporters viewed Dollar as evidence that his message worked. Critics, however, questioned whether spiritual leadership should be measured by material success. As the prosperity doctrine gained prominence, it also attracted scrutiny. The tension between inspiration and interpretation grew, setting the stage for debates that would follow Dollar throughout his career. Wealth, visibility, and growing discomfort. With expansion came visibility, and with visibility came questions. Dollar's personal lifestyle became a focal point for critics who struggled to reconcile his wealth with his role as a pastor. Large homes, luxury vehicles, and private travel were seen by supporters as signs of blessing, while others viewed them as symbols of excess. This divide widened as financial transparency became a topic of discussion among church watchdog groups. Dollar maintained that his resources enabled him to serve more effectively, insisting that success did not contradict faith. Yet for many observers, the gap between his lifestyle and the economic realities of his congregation felt uncomfortable. Investigations and public debates did not lead to legal consequences, but they left lasting impressions. The issue was no longer just theology, but trust. As scrutiny intensified, the foundation of unquestioned authority began to weaken, exposing the challenges of leading a global ministry without clear accountability. Public controversy and personal strain. While theological debates unfolded publicly, personal challenges emerged privately. In 2012, an incident involving Dollar and his teenage daughter brought intense attention to his family life. The situation was painful, complex, and deeply personal, yet it became national news almost instantly. Legal proceedings concluded without lasting charges, but the emotional impact remained. For many followers, the incident humanized a man they had viewed as untouchable. For critics, it reinforced concerns about power, control, and the pressures placed on families within high-profile ministries. Dollar addressed the situation publicly, framing it as a misunderstanding, and many supporters rallied around him. Still, the episode marked a shift. It reminded the public that spiritual authority does not shield anyone from personal struggle. The image of absolute control gave way to something more fragile, revealing the cost of maintaining perfection while navigating real human relationships behind closed doors. A stunning reversal of long-held teaching. In 2022, Dollar made an announcement that reshaped how many viewed his legacy. Standing before his congregation, he declared that his long-standing teachings on mandatory tithing were incorrect. He explained that he had come to believe such practices were rooted in Old Testament law and should not be imposed on modern believers. The admission shocked supporters and critics alike. For some, it represented humility and growth. For others, it raised difficult questions about responsibility. Decades of sermons, books, and fundraising efforts had been built on a doctrine he now rejected. Dollar urged followers to give freely rather than out of obligation, but he did not offer restitution or structural changes to address the past. The confession altered his narrative permanently. It was no longer about defending a system, but acknowledging fallibility. Whether viewed as courage or contradiction, the moment marked a turning point in his ministry's history. The weight of consequences and reflection. After the confession, reactions were mixed and often emotional. Longtime followers felt confused, questioning choices they had made based on teachings now labeled misunderstandings. Critics felt validated, arguing that the reversal confirmed long-standing concerns about prosperity theology. Dollar maintained that growth required re-evaluation and that understanding evolves over time. Yet the absence of concrete accountability left lingering dissatisfaction. The ministry continued, but with a different tone. Certainty gave way to explanation, and authority softened into justification. The situation highlighted a broader issue within influential leadership. What happens when belief systems change after others have built their lives around them? Dollar's experience underscores the complexity of spiritual leadership in a public arena. Reflection does not erase impact, and acknowledgement does not automatically heal disappointment. The consequences of teaching, especially at scale, extend far beyond intention, shaping trust in ways that cannot easily be reversed. A legacy still being written. Creflo Dollar's story is no longer one of unchecked assent, but of reckoning and reconsideration. His influence remains significant, yet it now exists alongside unresolved questions about responsibility, transparency, and the long-term effects of belief. Some see his recent shifts as evidence of sincerity, a willingness to admit error where others might remain silent. Others view them as too little, too late, given the magnitude of his reach. What is certain is that his narrative has changed. He is no longer defined solely by prosperity and confidence, but by the complexity of revisiting deeply ingrained convictions. Whether history remembers him as a reformer, a cautionary tale, or something in between will depend on what follows. For now, his journey serves as a reminder that influence carries weight, and that the hardest lessons often come not during the rise, but in the moments when certainty begins to fall away.